Days of Our Lives. Xander uses blood money to save Titan. Dangerous deal shocks everyone. Days of Our Lives sees Xander Kuriaki's cook, Paul Telfer, is busy scheming to save Titan and the Kuriakis' mansion, and it looks like he is going to go to the dark side and do some dirty business to get the funds to save Victor Kuriakis' John Aniston legacy. And it looks like Xander is up to his old tricks again, the ones from way back in the day. Even though he's doing it for the right reasons, Victor's son may use blood money to bail them all out. We have a lot to cover, so let's dive in. Before arriving in Salem, it was back, I think, in 2015, Xander Cook, as he was known then, ran an international blood diamond smuggling ring out of Africa. And he was this high-level smuggler, and he was also a hired gun. Then Xander involved his former lover and partner in crime, Serena Mason, and got her involved in the clandestine and highly illegal smuggling operation. And she, if you remember, hid a bunch of valuable diamonds inside this elephant statue that she then gave to Eric Brady, Greg Vaughn. Later Serena moved from Africa to Salem and she was trying to retrieve the statue and the diamonds, and Xander basically bullied Serena into handing them over. Not only that, but back then Xander also ran a pharmaceutical company and he used it as a front to launder the blood diamond money. And we found out later that good old Victor used Xander's muscle for all kinds of shady Kuriakis business. Victor was the brains behind it and he had Xander doing all the dirty and deadly work. And that was a long time before he knew that Victor was his dad and that he was actually Xander Kuriakis, which was his dream come true. Meanwhile, poor Eric had no idea until much later that the gifted elephant statue was used to smuggle blood diamonds. So, that whole ordeal, if you were watching back then, culminated in violence, threats, and the eventual murder of Serena by necktie killer Ben Weston, Robert Scott Wilson. And this kicked off Xander's tenure as one of Salem's most dangerous criminals. Then in 2018, Xander revisited the diamond dealings when he sold blood diamonds to a Mexican drug lord while he was trying to rescue Teresa Donovan, Emily O'Brien. And again, that reinforced Xander's dark criminal side, even though he was trying to legit be a decent part of Titan Industries. So, fast forward to last year, Xander inherited the CEO role at Titan after learning that Victor was really his biological dad, not his evil uncle. Wait, was it a year and a half ago? It's been a while. So now, after a series of unfortunate events set in motion by Philip Kuriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, and Vivian Alamain, Louise Sorel, and exposed by Gabby Hernandez, Cherie Jimenez, we have the Kuriakis family on the brink of losing everything. And none of that was really Xander's fault. Now Philip is worried they cannot pay off the loan installment. If they don't make the payment, they're going to lose the Kuriakis' estate. Because it is collateral for the loan that they desperately needed to keep Titan afloat after the Demera disaster, and they had to pull the companies back apart on Days of Our Lives. So, last week, Xander was frantic, as was Kate Roberts, Lauren Koslow, when they learned that Johnny Demera Carson Boatman wasn't gonna pay for the copyright fiasco. If you remember, Kate and Xander did this whole clever scheme. They tricked Johnny into publishing Bonnie Kuriakis' Judy Evans' questionable dirty book. And they were hoping for a quick settlement from Demera, and they could use that to pay the loan to save Titan. But then things didn't go according to plan. So, Johnny and E.J. Demera, Dan Feuerriegel, decided to fight them in court. Good thing that Johnny's got a good lawyer. Because he said they're being sued for plagiarism. That's not the basis for a lawsuit. Copyright infringement is, plagiarism is unethical. But it's not actually breaking any civil or criminal laws. But anyway, so right now everybody, including Maggie Kuriakis, Suzanne Rogers, are all worried that they're about to lose their home and lose Titan. So, Xander is getting his hands dirty to save all of them, save everything, even the people who don't like or respect him. So, the other day, if you remember, he had this mysterious phone call and it was about moving $5 million. And Xander had ordered somebody, my guess is Rita, to move money from some dodgy side of Titan's books that nobody else knows about, and that way he can use it to pay the loan, keep everything running smoothly, keep the family afloat. So, he is Victor's son, and he knows all about his dad's dirty dealings, plus his own dirty dealings, and a lot of times they overlapped. So, I think Xander might have access to a long-buried stash of blood diamonds maybe. Or he might have had an illicit stash of cash from past sales from his Africa days. And that could be money that he didn't bring to the US back when Victor was alive. Because it was too risky, and it may be risky now. But Xander may save Titan and the estate. But then in the long run, he could risk exposing his family to either old enemies from the blood diamond trade or to international authorities if that's how he gets the cash to bail them out of this mess that frankly Philip got them into. So, we may find out that Xander scrambled to find a way back into his old criminal ways to save them, thinking that he'd get in, get the cash they needed, and get out. You know, Sarah Horton's Lindsay Godfrey ex-husband may have a just one more time mentality, desperate to save the family legacy. We know Xander wants to leave something substantial for his young daughter Victoria and of course for Sarah. But Xander understands that he needs to be sneaky or Sarah may never let him see their child again and he just finally got a little bit of custody back. So, the question is, what will Philip and Maggie say if Xander goes this route and does something illegal to save them? I think Philip would probably be okay with it. He's no stranger to operating in morally gray areas. Maggie, on the other hand, she would not want either of Victor's sons getting into criminality again. But if Xander is not using blood money, it might be laundered money. That $5 million that he talked about could tie back to that pharmaceutical company that he was using to launder his dirty diamond money. But using criminal money to pay a legit debt to a bank could trigger an audit or some sort of legal scrutiny. Now, one last option is that Victor might have had secret assets that were from less than legal activities and only Xander knows about them because he and Victor were in that together. So, the problem is that Xander may save the family legacy. But Sarah and Maggie may judge and punish him for it. Now, I'm sure Xander is fully aware that everything that Victor worked so hard for could come crashing down and it could be down to this loan payment. They could lose everything. And I just don't think Xander is going to let it happen. I think he feels like he would be unworthy as Victor's son if it all fell apart on his watch. So, we're going to find out soon exactly what Xander is cooking up to save Titan and the mansion from the mess that Philip cooked up. But there's also a chance that Gabby might pitch in and try to help out. But if she does, Xander might wonder why.